Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 38 of our online Facebook COVID yoga practice. As I set the practice up, start to come into your normal breath. Make sure your props are nearby if you need a strap or a block, whatever you may need to feel comfortable, and just start to feel that rhythm, that wave of breath coming through your body, beginning with the balloon in your belly. Just start to feel your consciousness drop down to the lowest point of your breath. Whatever's happening outside of this room, outside of this practice, let it go. Focus only on your breath. Extend your exhale to be twice as long as your inhalation. Feel the balloon expanding, feel the periphery on all sides, east, west, north, south, creating space in the diaphragm, creating space between the vertebrae, creating space between the intercostal muscles. And feel that wave now starting to rise up the body into the chest. Feel the balloon in your rib cage expanding, extending. Feel that barrel-like sensation as you feel your body moving outward as stage 2 of our breath. So inhaling the balloon in your belly. Continue to breathe into the side ribs. And don't force it. Let that wave be very natural. If you don't find that it's climbing, go back to the base of your breath. Go back to that lowest point where you can bring your consciousness in your body, to the Muladhara chakra, Svadhisthana chakra, wherever you may find your mind wandering. Follow your breath and lead your breath. Do both simultaneously. The third stage of our introductory breath is into the clavicular region, into thoracic, and of course into the spaces in the facial cavities, into the crown, the top of the head, the Sahasrara chakra. As you continue to breathe very deeply, with every inhale, relax the shoulders, feel the shoulder blades melting down the spine. You can begin to introduce the Ujjayi breathing technique, where we are contracting the glottis in the throat. Mouth is closed, but we may want to visualize that we are fogging glass or defogging a window, that type of sound, but with a closed mouth, contracted glottis, as though we're almost on that Darth Vader type of breathing. So introduce this into your practice if you are comfortable. You can also introduce the Kichari Mudra, the tip of the tongue touching the back of the top of the teeth, and just a few inches back on the roof of the mouth where the palate elevates, and that soft palate, push your tongue into that place. It helps to keep the prana circulating. It helps to as well activate different muscles in our face, which will, when we have our counter pose, will help them to relax. And of course, that is part of facial yoga method, which is very important practice to continue as we get on in our years. If at any time during our warm-up or during the practice you need to adjust your position, feel free to do so. We will be sitting for another 5 minutes, possibly 7 minutes. So if you need to adjust your feet, Sitting up high in a block, keep your knees dropping, hips open, feel free to do so. As you continue to breathe those 3 places into your belly and through the nose, exhaling through the nose, lengthening the exhale to be twice as long as the inhalation. Bringing in the Ujjayi breathing technique. And when you are ready, we'll begin to bring in some movement into our practice. So when you are ready, allowing the hands just to slide off of the knees and inhale, arms out, palms facing upwards, shoulders down, eyes to the elbows open, stretching the palms, the fingertips, everything lifting, coming up nice and high. Make sure the shoulders don't scrunch, keep them down, shoulder blades melting, touching the tips of the fingers and changing direction of the palms, now facing downward. And exhale. The definition of the word yoga is union. So we want to use the breath to begin to unite the body and the mind as our first step. Allow the tips of the fingers to touch, and then again changing directions. Inhale, coming up. Slowing each movement to be a little bit more controlled than your last. Shoulders down, touching the tips of the fingers, and exhale. Very good. Just starting to feel your body and take the seat of the observer in the practice and just let go. Inhale, arms up halfway. And again, follow your own breath. Once they're in this T-shaped position, let's just hold here for a moment. Feel the effects of gravity after just a few moments. Shoulders pressing down, lengthening the spine. Relax your legs. Relax your feet. Breathing into the balloon in your belly. Breathing into the barrel in your ribs. And let the force of gravity work with you. There's great benefit to this posture. Feel the strengthening. And any sensation you feel, of course, is only pain if you identify it as pain. If at any time during the practice you do feel extreme pain or discomfort, come out of the position or listen to your body. Your body is your teacher. I am here as your mere guide. But do also challenge yourself to get a little bit deeper into your practice. Let's begin to stretch out the neck. So on your next exhale, or rather inhale, bend the elbows. Left fingers are going to come to the outside of the right temple, pressing into that soft spot. Right fingertips are going to come down to the ground, or planting the palm, or you can use a block if it's not quite comfortable or it doesn't come down. Use a block to help support. And nodding down, chin into the chest, nice and slow. That yes type of movement and mantra moving through the body. Each movement a little bit more slow than the last. And just start to map out all of those muscles, veins, tendons, arteries, bones coming together. On your next exhale, chin into the chest, releasing the hand. And let's bring the nose and chin down towards the side, almost towards the armpit. And again, we want to play with that a little bit and inch our way to the side as much as we can. Both hands can be palms down. And then exhale, making quarter circles, leading from the chin down to that original position. Inhaling up, just looking as far as the armpit, quarter circles, and then down. Just etching out that half back of the neck. Inhale as we lift. Exhale as we come down. On your next exhale, gluing the chin into the chest, making sure your spine is lengthening. And on your next inhale, lifting everything, palms up, facing the ceiling, chin up. Inhaling, tips of the fingers. The shoulders down, exhaling, reverse the palms, and again, halfway, what we do to one side, we'll do to the other side. So taking the opposite fingertips, finding the soft spot in the opposite temple, changing direction of the opposite hands, coming to the ground, whether they're tenting the fingers, flattening the palm, using a block or any other support. Once you find your sweet spot, chin into the chest, nodding yes, that deep, positive, resonating mantra moving through the body. And trying to feel, where do you lose attention on your muscles? From the point where we are getting the deepest stretch, follow up the skull, down the back, along the neck, through the shoulder, into the front of the chest. Feel how those muscles are just tentacling out, and how does your awareness stay? When your chin is down, release your hand. And again, let's look to the armpit, stretching out the side, adjusting, inching yourself in to really get a deep stretch. And then quarter circles, exhale down, leading with the chin and the nose. Inhaling up. Breathing, guiding your movements, exhaling down. Inhaling up. On your next downward exhale, gluing the chin into the chest, keeping the spine lifting, shoulders dropping. On your next inhale, everything lift all the way up, shoulders down, interlace the fingers above, and lifting nice and tall. Making sure the shoulders are dropping, pressing the palms to the ceiling, and exhale, bringing the hands down behind the neck, bringing the elbows together, and we're just going to stretch out the cervical spine, so tucking the chin into the chest and those top 7 vertebrae coming down, and just let the upper vertebrae hang there. The rest of your body is nice and long, the rest of your vertebrae nice and long, lifting, shoulders are down, lengthening the neck, and breathing here. On your next exhale, let's try to roll down a little bit further. So vertebrae by vertebrae, keeping the elbows nice and tucked in. Come to where you are comfortable, as far down as you want. And take one deep breath here. And inhale, coming up. Again, arms out to the side. Cactus arms, slight back bend. And we'll come into a bit of shoulder openings. One breath for each movement. So when you're ready, inhaling, arms out. And exhale, left elbow to the front across the chest, bringing the opposite arm, hand just in to hold it, lengthening the whole back of the shoulder. And inhaling, open. And opposite side. Really pulling through that residual tension, and inhaling, open. Now overhead, inhaling, right hand to the left elbow, lengthening upwards, and continuing your breath, and opposite elbow, and inhaling outwards and coming down, interlacing the fingers behind and lifting the arms up nice and high. First with a nice straight back, keep the shoulders pushing down. Once you've found your edge in the arms, then with a nice straight back on your exhale, coming forward, and we're going to hold here for 5 deep breaths. Deep breaths, not seconds. And remember, you're inhaling deeply through the nose. Exhaling twice as long, also through the nose. That's 4. 3. 2. 1. And 0 is still a number. When you're ready,
vertebrae by vertebrae, dropping the arms, keeping the head hanging, chin tucked into the chest, and slowly rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. As you inhale, filling the balloon in your belly, allow that force of the breath to move your spinal column up into the lungs. Last thing that comes up is your head. And let's place those hands behind us. I will move just for demonstration. You can stay exactly where you are. Hands come slightly behind us, fingers pointing towards the toes. We're going to do a reverse bend. So when you're ready, let's inhale, lifting, trying to move your hips forward, dropping the knees down. This will have varying degrees of availability for each of us. You may need to wiggle through the hips. And if you're comfortable to come into a Vajrasana, which means we are sitting on our heels, feel free to do so. Otherwise, you can come down and just move yourself over on your own. Otherwise, if you are comfortable in this way, when you're ready, inhaling, lift, and just move the feet behind you. Now, if you want to be in Vajrasana, we are sitting on our heels. If you had stayed in that initial sitting position, that was 15 minutes of sitting. So very good, everyone that was able to retain that movement. And so we're going to do a alternative breathing technique, Nadi Pranayama Shodhani. If you would like to come into Virasana, wherein you are sitting between your heels, you are welcome. If this is not available or you'd like to try but it's not really comfortable, sit on a block or a pillow or a bolster or anything that can help to lift your hips and ease a bit of pressure. They will both have benefits. Listen to where your body is at. Don't push yourself. Give your body exactly what it needs. Now we're going to stay in these position just for a minute or two of breathing. So come into a position that's comfortable for you. If you are familiar with the Nadi Shodhana Pranayama breathing technique, please begin now. Otherwise, taking the right hand. This is the alternative nostril breathing. So we're going to fold down the second and third finger. Right thumb is going to block the right nostril. We're going to exhale completely through the left. Inhale right, close right, exhale left. Inhale left, close left, exhale right. So it's a bit of a V shape going up and down each channel. We're not going to do any kumbhaka or breath retention, as that will come with our Viloma Pranayama in the next breathing. So when you are ready, I will guide you through the first one, demonstrating with my hands. You can keep your hands rested. On your next exhale, exhale completely. Right thumb blocks the right nostril. And we're still following the 1-1-2-2. So however long your inhale is how long your 1-2-1-2. However long your inhale, your exhale should be twice as long. When you're ready, exhaling completely. And inhale. Closing and opening the right, and exhale for twice as long. So if it was 4-second inhale, you have an 8-second exhale. You can keep your hand down just to relax, following my hand just for demonstration. Inhale deeply. And again, if your exhale has extended now, pay attention and open the opposite nostril and exhale twice as long. So you may have an extension that comes a little bit longer this time. I will do the second round with you when you're ready. Finishing off your next round, your last round. And when you're ready, removing the hands. You may have gotten a little bit dirty from the practice, and you may have noticed some of the nostril being blocked. It's quite normal. The nostril opening changes every 90 minutes, and if you're sick or have sinus issues, of course, there is blockage. But that is the reason why we want to practice that on a daily basis, to keep both nostrils equally balanced, and that will help to activate both sides of the hemispheres. When you're ready, we're going to come into a bit of a twisting position. So if you are in Virasana, come back into Vajrasana. So sitting up on your heels, inhaling arms up. And exhale, bringing the left hand down to the side. Just give a slight side stretch. And then bringing the opposite arm, right hand down. Leaning over to the side again, and opposite arm, inhaling up. Now we're coming almost across the hands, so the right hand can be on the left knee or vice versa, whichever arm you have up. And just let that upper arm bounce. Feel a sense of lightness and playfulness in the upper body while you feel that very strong groundedness in your legs. Now, we've been holding in either a Virasana or a Vajrasana. So prior to this, we were really bound all of our circulation. So this is letting that highly oxygenated blood now come into the extremities of our legs, toes. Continuing to breathe very deeply. On your next exhale, let's release, coming down, bringing that upper arm to the outside of the knee, opposite hand to the ankle or heel, and slightly twisting behind. And trying to keep your posture sitting up nice and tall, shoulders down. Feel the twist through all 4 regions of the spine. And inhale, shoulder rotation coming up. And turning to the opposite side, shoulder rotation all the way over, pressing the palms in, looking as far as you can to the opposite side. Almost see if you can check out your toes. You can feel the stretch again through your neck, through the side of your skull, through that temple where we just had that nice little massage. And when you're ready, inhaling, come back to center and come back up to Vajrasana. Binding that circulation, taking just a moment to feel the effects. And of course, what we do to one side of the body, we always do to the opposite side. So folding down, making sure you're comfortably seated. When you're ready, opposite hand to the opposite knee, inhaling, arm up. And again, just feel that sense of lightness in the upper body. Bouncing sort of sensation. Breathing deeply into the side body. And on your next exhale, drop that upper arm down to the knee and pushing in for a slight twist, looking behind. And nice wide sunrise arms, shoulder sunrise salutation, and to the opposite side. And coming back to center. And coming up again onto our Vajrasana. Just take a moment here. Let's stretch out the ankles and the toes. So again, I will adjust myself just to demonstrate. Leaning back slightly. Now, if you're not comfortable here, you can maybe just kind of lift one at a time and play with it. If you are feeling like you want to try, but it's a bit painful, you can stick a block or a pillow or something underneath to give a bit of support. Otherwise, if you do feel like you can get a bit of a balance without causing any tension or damage, find a balance. You can lean back slightly. Hands can there to work as your foundation. Otherwise, you can certainly bring your hands up. Relax the feet, relax the legs. And staying here for as long as you like. Otherwise, let's alter the movement, stretching out the toes, so folding them under. And just sitting on the heels. Take a moment to sink into your feet, breathing here. Now again, while this may be available to you, it may be very uncomfortable for you. Just breathing here for a moment. And now we'll come into our first yin position. So coming into a balasana or a child's position. So coming forward, keeping the knees open, toes together or aiming to be together, and walking the hands out. If this is not very comfortable, again, you can have a block or a bolster underneath your legs that is going to kind of help with your hips. You can have something underneath your belly if you'd like to have a bit more support there. Otherwise, we are going to hold this for 3 minutes. So get comfortable, breathing nice and deeply. It's 30 seconds, so even with this length of time, we should start feeling the phase change in the body, feeling the deep connective tissue starting to open up. Adjusting yourself at any time that you may need, focusing on the breath moving through your belly, along your spine. Feeling the balloon expanding, spine lengthening. Coming up to 2 minutes. Very good. By now you should start to feel the hyaluronic acid moving through the body. That deep release. And we're abiding by the 3 tenets of Yin Yoga, which are stillness over an extended period of time along your edge. So in all of our positions, we don't want to exceed our abilities. We want to be feeding our bodies exactly what we need. And taking your last breath here. Now, as we come out of the position, we will feel very stiff. We will feel as though we have aged. That is very normal. That is indicative that we have gotten into the deep fascia and we have had an impact. So when you are ready, with a nice rounded back, pressing into the hands and into that first knuckle, keep the chin into the chest, inhaling, lifting from your hips, lengthening the legs. And we're going to shift all the way forward onto our hands and just come into a bit of a counter position. So naturally the legs will kind of open, and in this cobra type of position, just let your body hang here. And when you're ready, we will reverse. So keeping the chin tucked into the chest with a nice round spine. Coming up, and again, finding your balasana or your child's position. Take a moment, just a breath, and repeat. Inhaling, coming up. And exhaling, dropping your hips down. Keeping the shoulders moving down away from the ears at all times. And once more, so tucking the chin into the chest, rounding the spine. Coming back to our balasana. And forward into our Shirsasana Cobra. On your next exhale, let's bend the elbows, coming down onto our bellies, adjusting yourself as necessary. And well, I guess I can't turn here. Monkey's in the way, isn't he? Okay, so with our upper bodies, we're going to stretch out our shoulders. So inhaling, let's bring the hands, sorry, I will adjust. Bring the hands just under our shoulders, so at about this distance. And we want to give a nice medium, not too shallow, not too deep, just a nice inhale, relax. Take a moment to work yourself into this cobra. Make sure the tips of the toes are touching, the tops of the feet are flat on the floor, pushing into your palms, first knuckle particularly, shoulders are down. Feel the belly lengthening, feel the diaphragm expanding. And now we're going to turn, look over the left shoulder, trying to look at the right heel. Inhale back to center. And exhale, opposite side. Stay pushing in the hands, inhaling back to center. Now let's take that left arm, lifting it up. And looping it through. So as we loop it through, palm faces upwards, putting the weight on the shoulder and looking in the opposite direction, and then planting your head, yogi, and release. It's raining outside, so yogis come in to be a good boy. Wonderful. We're going to hold this for another 5 or so breaths. And when you're ready on your next exhale, we're going to reverse that. So inhaling, lift, pushing into that straight arm, lifting your opposite arm, and then out to a T-shaped position, palm facing downward. So if your left arm is out to the side, that we've just stretched the shoulder, let's lift your right leg, bend your right knee, and start to lift and open that hip. Keep your left palm flat on the ground, and we are primarily stretching out the left shoulder here. Primarily stretching out the left shoulder, but we can also start to focus on the hip and release. And you can let your head relax. And if you're feeling really open in the chest, you can bring your hand back and you can try to interlace your fingers here. And let's hold this for 5. Now there's a variety of positions no matter what you're able to do is exactly where you need to be. So even if you're just kind of in this initial position, you could have your leg lifting and just reaching over, starting to open up. When you're ready, let's exhale, come back to center. Good. And what we do to one side, we always do to the opposite side. So bringing that hand in, and let's bring the hands back to that place on the floor just above the shoulders. Inhaling up, and this time opposite arm lifting and working it through. Stretching it out, palms facing upwards, and turning your head to the opposite side. Relax your legs, relax your feet, and feel the weight opening the shoulder girdle. Breathing into the back of the body. We'll hold here for 5. And when you're ready, on your next inhale, lift and shift the weight, move the arm out to the opposite side, flattening the palm. So we're in a bit of a T-shaped position. The opposite arm, I guess, can come for a bit of a foundation under the armpit. So if the right arm is out, lift the left leg, bending the knee, and then starting to lift the hip. And finding your position of comfort here. So primarily we are targeting the shoulder. But you can also start to feel that twist in the lower spine. Opening in the hip. And you can bring the arm back if you're comfortable, if it's available. And just breathe and relax. And when you're ready, on your next inhale, release the hands, unraveling the body, lifting the leg, coming back up to center. And arms out above or in front of us, lengthening the body. Let the chin come on the chest, chin on the floor. And just push the palms down, push the tops of the feet down, push the whole body down into the ground. And when you're ready, let's slowly start to walk the hands back under the armpits and pushing ourselves back up. And again into a Vajrasana, just as a point of transition. And now finding ourselves down on our side, bringing the legs in front of us. And into a Paschimottanasana. So sitting nice forward bend. And again, we will hold this for an extended period of time. So you want to lift both hips, open the femurs, shoulders are down, spine is lengthening. Inhaling, arms up, shoulders down. And exhale with a nice straight back until you find your edge in each of the 4 lumbar each of the regions of the spine. So once the lumbar region sort of finds its peak, start to lengthen with the thoracic. And once you've found that extension, let the clavicular spine, the head, the neck, fall into place. And again, we are going to hold this for an extended period, so about 3 minutes. Follow your breath. Remind yourself the balloon in your belly. Do not sacrifice the depth of your breath when we twist or when we bend. This is the opportunity to maintain that depth of breath and continue to send it traveling everywhere that it needs to go, despite the stressful conditions that we may be under, in this case, a forward fold. Now, Paschimottanasana is also one of the best yoga positions to any of the practices. The spine is lengthening without any weight. And as that relaxation and that space is created, those little openings in all the muscles and the tendons between the vertebrae, that of course helps to improve the communication along the spinal column, and of course all of the thousands and millions of nerve endings, improving all of the bodily functions. That's coming up to 1.5 minutes, so that's halfway. As you breathe, continue to inhale, lengthening the spine, finding the space between each vertebrae and claiming that space back, taking it with your breath, filling those pockets with freshly oxygenated, deep breathing, prana, and blood flow. With every exhale, relaxing deeper into the position. Coming up on 2 minutes, and for the next minute, just focus on your breath. Focus on the wave moving along your spine, and as you exhale, release any tension that you may be holding, be it physical or mental. Wonderful. Take your last deep breath in this position. And keeping the chin tucked into the chest, very slowly begin to roll upward, vertebrae by vertebrae. The first thing that rolls is your coccyx, your sacrum, your lumbar spine. Try to make this a bit of a meditation. Can you follow which vertebrae is moving? Are they stacking one by one, or are they helter-skelter? Inhaling as we continue to lift. Last thing that comes up, neck, chin, shoulders. We can roll them down one direction, the opposite direction. And we'll come into a counter pose. So let's take your blocks, putting them behind you. The distance should be about that same distance when we do a reverse pose. So if the hands, the palm of the heel of the hand, is about 6 to 8 inches away from you, have the block right in between that point. Now, you can have it on low, medium, or high. And in my case, because I've been on a computer, I'm going to put it between my shoulders, between that spine. But if you're feeling in the mid region or in the lower back, wherever you feel you need to put that weight or that pressure, go ahead. Even under the knees, if you're really having back issues, you say, I don't want to touch my back, put something under the knees. We're going to hold this again for 3 minutes. So when the knees are lifted, the pressure in the lower back is reduced. So that's one alternative as well. Okay, so take the choice. And if none of those work for you, put your legs up the wall. You'll get the lower back pressure, the sacrum release, and you'll get all the circulation coming down. Now, if you do have the block, You may want to have your legs straight or in Konasana. I will have mine in Konasana, which is the butterfly position, soles of the feet together. You can have them just bent as you like. Wherever you find yourself, we are going to hold this again for 3 minutes. So you may also want to have another block to hold your head if you feel that that is something that may be painful along your neck. Okay? If you have a good strong neck or you've done this several times, go ahead. Otherwise, use the blocks. Okay, so adjusting your shoulders, making sure it's in a nice, good spot, putting pressure in the muscle, not pain in the bone. Lengthen your spine and then inhaling, arms up. Try to get that block right in the center. And when you're ready, exhale, arms out to the side. Feel the shoulder blades squeezing in. We'll hold for 3 minutes from this point. And breathe. Feel the wave moving through your body, balloon in your belly, barrel in your ribs, the spaces in the faces, climbing up the cavities in your faces, the crown of your head. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, relax your feet. Feel the heat traveling through your legs. Breathe deeply into the pressure in your back, wherever it may be. Feel the lungs opening. Feel a sensation of lightness coming through the body. That is 1 minute. We are going to hold it for 3 minutes. If at any point you feel dizzy, nauseous, or uncomfortable, come out of the pose. Otherwise, focusing on the back of your lungs, focusing on that 3-part breath, contracting your throat in the Ujjayi breathing technique. Extending your exhale to be twice as long as your inhale. Tongue is in Kichari Mudra, tip of the tongue behind the top of the teeth and back in the soft spot in the roof of your mouth. And just notice the quality of your breath. That's coming up, well, just past 2 minutes. So we'll hold it for a little bit while longer. And again, taking the seat of the observer, what sensations happening in the body. Do not try to label or identify. There are systems and symptoms of which we cannot quite articulate with our current models. So just experience this side of the practice. That's 3 minutes. Now, in order to come up, be very gentle with your neck. So inhale, arms out to the side, bring them, interlace the hands behind the head, just as we did in the beginning. Keep the elbows tucked in tight to each other. Inhale, cervical spine up into the chest, stretching up the top of the neck. Breathing deeply. And really lifting, feeling that pressure throughout the spine. And when you're ready, let's come up all the way. removing the block. And coming into a counter position, so knees into the chest, hugging the arms around the knees, and just pushing back. Bring the chin down to the chest, the forehead into the knees. Now you may be balancing here. If you don't feel comfortable with the balance, put the block under your feet. If you need to help with a little bit of a depth in the spine, let's take it a little bit deeper. So releasing the hands to the knees, dropping onto the lower spine, flattening the sacrum. And let's come up. So inhale, just feeling the whole sacrum, getting a nice massage, lifting, trying to bring the chest to the knees, looking up, slight back bend, gentle with the neck, stretching out the skin though, which is fantastic to counteract the effects of gravity and time. And exhale, chin into the chest and rounding. Again, flatten your sacrum. Feel the stretch along the back of the shoulder blades. One more time, inhaling, coming up. And exhale, coming down. This time, as we come down, once you find your edge of your extended body, release your hands from your knees. Allow yourself to come flat back. Keep the knees bent, arms out to the side, and just take a moment to feel the full spine lengthening along the ground. Breathe into the various regions of your body. And when you're ready, let's inhale, lift both legs up into a two-leg raised position. We'll just get a little bit more depth of breath and massage in the lower back. So start making just teeny tiny little circles with the feet and changing directions. Again, releasing the pressure in the lower back. And then slowly making larger circles in one direction and the opposite direction. Feeling the mid back starting to release. And now let's drop the feet down, feet to the outer edges of the mat, and windshield wiper the knees down to the side, looking to the opposite direction. And really feel the front of the joints opening, the hips, the shoulders, the knees, even the elbows into the neck, the jaw, all those tight points. Everything is kind of getting exposed. And inhale, bring the knees up. And exhale, opposite side. Over-exaggerating the push to the left and to the right. And including everything, not just your main dense parts of your body, but of course even the fingers. And follow your breath, inhaling side to side. A few times, just giving a nice massage to the lower back, to the sacrum region, to the seat of Kundalini energy, the home of that great power that belongs to each one of us, but some of us may have forgotten how to release and to use. And in fact, it's not quite in our culture to train us how to do that. On your next exhale, coming into Shavasana, so simply letting the legs lengthen, feet flail outwards, arms coming down beside the body, palms facing upwards, curling the fingers in ever so slightly, feeling the heat on the palms. Paying attention to any sensation circulating through the body. Relax your hips, relax your shoulders. Feel those dense, heavy parts of the body melting into the ground. Feel the earth enveloping, comforting and soothing and healing and rejuvenating your body. The energy of spring, the energy of life, growth, transformation, persistence. As you continue to breathe very deeply, remember the balloon in your belly, the barrel in your ribs, expanding all of those newly found pockets of space and taking it back, reclaiming it as part of your practice. Feeling the wave continuing to move through the body very slowly. Allow your consciousness to travel through your body very slowly. Allow your mind to travel where any tightness or tension, be it physical or mental, remain. And with your next expiration, release that sensation. Allow it to lift and travel away from the body just as mist rises from an early morning pond. You're welcome to stay in this position for as long as you so may desire. Otherwise, keeping the eyes closed, breath deep, heart soft, mind open, body relaxed. When you are ready, on your next inhale, very gently begin to wiggle the fingers and toes. Very gently allow your head to turn to the left, stretching out the neck, pressing the ear to the earth. And to the right, slowly feeling that massage along the back of your skull, pressing the ear to the earth, listening to your body. Inhale back to center, arms reaching overhead, interlace your fingers and stretching the side body to the left, trying to keep the shoulders and the hips as close to the ground as we can. Exhale to center and inhale opposite side. And exhale to center. Inhale, bring the knees into the chest, interlacing the arms around the legs, rocking side to side, up and down, making small, medium, or large circles with the knees, or finding stillness. Whatever your body needs, just listen to your body. Coming down onto the right side, folding the right arm up, using the right bicep as a pillow, knees tucked into the original fetal yoga position. Taking a moment to send your energy to all of those who have helped you become who you are. Taking a moment to send your love to all of those who are suffering. Allowing a smile to come across the face, releasing endorphins from the practice, keeping the energy that you need for yourself to continue to be an amazing, loving, kind, gentle human being.
when you are ready, and only when you are ready, very gently, very slowly, and in your own time, gently coming back up to a comfortably seated position. Taking a moment to feel the effects of the practice on the body. Allowing the hands to come onto the knees, palms facing down for a sense of knowing, palms facing up for a seeking of knowledge. It's traditional to close the practice by chanting Om together 3 times. It is a breath extension as well as a vibration creation. Allowing the hands to come into the sternum, thumbs into the chest, feeling the rhythm of your heart, separated from the fingers, directed out, giving direction to your life, leading from your heart. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Atma Namaste. Thank you very much for your time, your practice, and your breathing. And I remind you that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the emotions. You are the breath, you are the light, you are the eternal, you are what is, what was, and always shall be.